I did not wear the cutoff because I knew it was mail in Thursday. I wear it because it's comfortable. I kind of forgot, to be honest with you. Started the show, so he's like, "Oh, here we go." Once the screen pops up on Riverside, he's like, "Okay, taking it serious today." We
There are
got Kyle
really
with us.
quickly. There are times
Please.
when I'm like, does Ryan know we're on camera? There's just like, you'll wear a tank or whatever. And today's one of those days because that's actually a really nice shirt. That's a throwback. That's a vintage, as people say, shirt. That's a Russillo and Cannell. That's one of the softest t-shirts I've ever owned.
Did it come as a tee or?
It did. Well,
okay.
Sleeves. And then he just decided to make it a cutoff.
Sure.
Which
is
a good cut.
Back, Sometimes the cut can go bad. If you do a bad cut, it's just you'll never recover from that.
This one worked out. This is a Donnie Marshall Yukon special, the OG. There's an argument that he started it. He started the half.
He invented the cutoff.
Cut. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Whenever you start getting like invention debates of like who invented stuff, a lot of people out there saying they invented stuff they didn't. Or they're like, you may have done it, but somebody definitely did it before you. Anyway, so the structure for this today, we're going to do some different things. Last time was an entire mailbag with the Friday feedback stuff. But so Rudy, the plan for today is what?
So, let me just back it up. So I think we're going to start putting out more content on the YouTube only channel, right? On our Ryen Russillo YouTube channel. And one of those elements is going to be a Friday feedback. Another one is going to be like a grab bag of Mail It In Thursday, which is kind of what today is. And one of the gimmicks we're going to do is the over under properly rated that we did back in the radio show days, where we just kind of like nominate things and we go from there. So today we're each going to nominate 2 things and we will kind of assess them. Plus I've got a history fact and we're going to answer an email at the end of the end of the segment too. So kind of a smorgasbord, as Kyle said before the pod.
I love it. History fact. Okay. So over under properly. I know you love this. We used to do this back radio days. All right, you guys, I'll go third. So however you want to do it.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
This is the kind of what started it. Halloween. Over under properly rated. And the reason I'm asking this is because, as I mentioned on the last pod, my daughter's birthday is in a month. My daughter's birthday is the 26th, and we're having like a birthday party for her, a second birthday party, and it's Halloween themed. And we encourage people to like dress up if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to,
are you dressing up?
I am. I don't know what I'm going to be yet. We thought about, she's a big Bluey fan, so we thought about, am I the dad? Obviously Maddie's the mom, and then she could be Bluey. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. But one of my friends
more James
was like, no, not quite. One of my friends was like, "Oh, Halloween sucks. Like that's like the worst holiday." And I was like, "How?" I was like, "I thought everybody liked Halloween." So maybe this is honestly a self-correction because Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. I think Halloween is underrated. Candy, time of year. I love scary movies. Football, just everything. The entire feel of that time of year and that holiday is one of my favorites. So I think it's underrated, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's properly rated. I think it's a spectrum based on where you are. Like when I was young, I think I fell out of love with Halloween before other people my age. I never liked masks. I don't like the smell of those masks and face paint. Never was that kind of dude.
What about shenanigans though? I mean,
big shenanigans guy. Yeah, Night Before Halloween was great. But I think I
Toasties.
Kind of fell,
remember we talked about Toasties, Kyle?
Yes. I kind of fell out of love with Halloween around high school. And then in college, I was like, oh, yeah, I think I was Tom Brady for like 5 years in a row. Then I got a little too fat to pull off the Tom Brady. So now I had to pivot. It's like at a certain point, you're like, all right, you can't be Tom Brady again, man. It's not looking the same.
We should order some more Brady gear. Just a shirt that says Brady. That way you don't have to wear the uniform. You can be post-playing career Brady.
Yeah. People always used to think wearing the jersey. People used to always think wearing the jersey was cheating too. Like, oh, that's not a real Halloween costume. Because I remember like one year I wore like a Keyshawn Bucks jersey because a Keyshawn Johnson Bucks jersey, and somebody was like, that's not a real Halloween costume. And I'm like, you're probably right.
I bought a glove. I had a towel. I had like a hand warmer. I went
pads.
I went to Dick's. I put t-shirts under. Yeah, it was sexy Tom Brady. I should see if I can find something. It looked great. It looked great.
We'll post that. Yeah.
He was winning still. Tom Brady. Yeah, perfect. He was winning still. Yeah, it was good. But
who's always winning? He's winning now. What are you talking
you're right. But in New York and college, I think he had just won not too long.
He wakes up and wins.
Anyway, and then that was why I liked it. But then I moved out here, and my cousins were young, and I would go out and do Halloween with them, and then I got jazzed up about it again, and now I'm kind of like, take it or leave it. So like I think it's properly rated because it's wherever you are in life. I think your buddy who doesn't like Halloween probably doesn't have a reason to get jazzed up about it, meaning he doesn't have kids and he probably doesn't look like Tom Brady anymore.
Here's the thing. It was a girl, a female, and she does have kids. I was like, what? Isn't that so? I don't know. It blew my mind. I'm like, you get to dress your like. I can't wait to see my daughter dressed
How
up.
old
in
is
whatever
she?
the heck. The kid, their kid, same age. She's about 2. He's about 2.
No, the friend.
Oh, she's like my age, a couple years younger. I don't know.
What did the kids say? What did the 2-year-olds say? I was telling you guys in a monologue about like the fear factor because we didn't have that many things to pay attention to when I was a kid. There was a Halloween scare like that was just throughout the entire country. It was like, okay, don't get this candy because people are doing this. So like you
There's
thought
razor blades in it and poison.
Yeah, right. But like
Yeah.
it was so prominent. It was so often discussed that you had people being like, we're not sending our kids out or whatever. And you're just like, this
Crazy.
sucks.
Yeah.
Because when you think about Halloween of all the holidays, it's kind of holding up. It's holding up in comparison to some of the other holidays that are challenged more often because of their origins or your beliefs. Like Halloween, you can't really mess with, you know?
Dia de los Muertos, right? Is that the
Yeah.
the Day of the Dead thing? Which is
So
also
it's-
really cool.
There's no way it's overrated. I was leaning towards properly rated, but I would say based on its the survival instincts of the Halloween or of the holiday itself. And look, when you're in college, it's on for days.
It's the best
Like,
holiday. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Girls have 4 costumes. Yeah.
It could be a week after.
Women, sorry.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're still pulling this off on Tuesday? Like Halloween was Thursday. And I think if you're an adult and you're really into it and you like dressing up, because I think deep down there's a lot of people that really like to just have that moment where it's acceptable to dress like He-Man. I think it's great. And I think kids really like it. I think its approval rating's probably never been higher. So it may even be underrated.
I wasn't sure where you go on that one, so I'm happy. I could see you being like I don't know, I don't like kids knocking on my door. But you actually do love kids, so that's a stupid comment by
That's
me.
documented.
Do you get trick-or-treaters at the spot?
No. In Manhattan Beach, there's this whole hill section where apparently it is a free-for-all. You know? Like if you wanted to, you could take footage of it and say like the border's out of control. No, it isn't. It's just kids in Manhattan Beach. So I think the scouting report is where I live. Everyone knows like that's not efficient enough. Just go up there because it's just on. So the last couple of years I've bought candy because I didn't ever want to not have any. And then it just sits there for an entire year. All right. We need to be quicker on this. That's my fault. Let's go. Kyle, what do you got?
Okay. Kamala Harris. No, I'm just kidding. Here's one. This is a big one. This sort of goes with Halloween. House parties. I think house parties are underrated. I think there's a lot of reasons for it, a lot of valid reasons people don't want to have house parties. And I'm not talking about barbecues in the backyard. You can go and, there's some hors d'oeuvres in the kitchen if you need to use the bathroom, but mainly the parties outside. And, sometimes there's Halloween house parties. That makes a lot of sense. But I'm just talking about a regular house party. We're pulling the ripcord. We're cutting loose a little bit. I understand why after college, when you're renting a house that's supposed to be a piece of shit house and, caution's kind of to the wind. I understand why, but I do think that the air is just a little different at a house party. And I think if I was I think probably 99.5% of my friends don't own houses. So I'm not getting invited to a lot of house parties. So maybe that'll change as I grow older. But I think it's like a lost art form.
I totally agree. You know how like Jared Goff is, I think the Lions play like, what is it, like 14 of their games are either, in warm weather or in the dome. And he's just a different quarterback there. I'm a different person at house parties. Like I was like in college, like if we were going to the club or the bar or whatever, I didn't thrive in that environment. I just sucked at it. I don't know why. I'm not like a go up to a girl and buy her a drink kind of thing. Like I'm more of a like laid back, we're in the living room, maybe some people are playing some pong, whatever stuff's going on. That's where I was the best version of me. I don't know that I think it's definitely not overrated at all. I would say personally to me, it's properly rated because that's like my favorite. I just think all the people that I hang out with too like house parties and aren't like big clubbing people. So it's definitely not overrated. I would say properly rated or underrated. And I lean towards underrated because it's really, if I had a preference, like that's the only party I'd go to from now on.
And I think when I say house party, there's got to be a distinction between like a gathering of your buds and a house party. That's what I think. Like, I don't think you're knocking on the door for a house party. I think you just kind of walk in.
Yep.
That's what I mean.
Depends on the setting, though. Like, there's house parties that are domes, and there's house parties that are outside in bad weather. And when you're at a house party where you're like, I don't want to be here, and this is weird, and I said yes because of somebody else, and now I'm here. people are telling me, they're like, actually, Mississippi State's incoming recruiting class. You're like, all right. But I think they are a little underrated. Unless it's your house. My cleaning lady quit after the Kentucky Derby party. Poor gal. She had one normal shift, and then she showed up at the Derby party, and she was like, "Is it like this here every week?" I was like, "It's never ever been like this ever. I can't. It's going to take me a couple days to get right myself." The house is a great representation of where I'm at right now. By the way, you said you're not great of like Cerruti opening lines. Like, what do you have a moment where you had to like use an opener that you can share with us? You're married now.
At a bar?
Statute of limitations? Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I was never a pickup line guy. So I was more of a like, oh, so and so knows me. He's a cool dude, and then like in a smaller circle of friends, I can sort of thrive. But I'm not the guy who is going to.
You're a letter of recommendation guy.
Great, yes, and usually recommended highly. But I was just never comfortable. I don't know, because I'm not that guy who could just like go to a bar and just get rejected 10 times and just like go to sleep at night. Like I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep for weeks.
Those guys are. I gotta be honest with you. Those guys are unbelievable. I'd be like, you just go around, you just work the room, and they're like, "Yep." I'm like,
yeah,
undeterred. I imagine those are like the youngest. That's like, I have 3 older brothers. I've been beaten my whole life.
Right. Nothing. And literally nothing.
Now I show up to happy hours and just beat it right fire. Like, where do you don't even go to school here? I'm Doug. Kyle?
I was trying to think if I could pull one out. I don't know. There was that one period of time where I just kind of let the suit do the talking out and about. But no, I can't really think of anything. Definitely like the smoking area. Like that's where a lot of like conversations got struck up. You need
common interests.
Girls never bring cigarettes to the bars. They just never do. They know they can get them. There are plenty out front or out back. And like I wouldn't post up out there, but as the night goes on, the breaks become more frequent, and that's a good way to strike up a conversation. And the know she won't be grossed out by me smoking cigarettes, so it was kind of a win-win.
I like it. One thing I tried recently is I went up to somebody. I was like, I identify as super into you.
So that worked out well.
Did she like that? I don't know.
Give that one a spin. Waiting to hear back. Okay, over under. Properly rated fantasy football.
Overrated.
Over.
This is the most overrated thing. I haven't even checked my lineup since we did the draft. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm doing well or not. I actually think my roster's been active the entire time. But you take McCaffrey 1 and you lose your league. Does it have anything to do with your skill, your acumen? Listen to, you read some guides. I just, all right. I think we can move on.
Yeah. I don't there's too much information now. Like everyone has the same sleepers. It's kind of just injury dependent. I would say that I will say this. I want to be.
It's so injury dependent though. It's like I would do a keeper league. Because I think it's fun and there's long-term strategy. It invigorates the trade market, but I interrupted you, Cerise, so keep going.
No, I was just gonna like I want to be in one. So I'm not like, hey, I'm too cool for school. Like I have one with my friends. I really Kyle invited me to one last year that was like kind of a disaster.
What is disaster? Yeah. Fuck those guys.
I really only said yes because I felt bad, and then it ended up like not really happening.
All right, you didn't have to cut that out, Mike.
No, it's fine. Like I did it because I like you and you asked me, and I wanted to be, obviously buddy. But
it's hurting more.
I really only have room for one, and even that one, like my buddies and I talk about quitting it every year, but we won't. We just like talking about quitting it, but it's still, I'd rather just bet on games than have a year-long fantasy league. So.
I think, yeah, and I'm at the age too where like I was like all about being in 3, like maybe 4. I kind of wanted to have this quarterback. I'll join yours. And in my different groups of friends are all like, some of them are more into it than others. And I just every year around this time I get like agita and I don't like the feeling when they're all like, because they're never well organized. We don't have like a long-standing tradition like the one I'm in now. I share a team with a guy out here, and they have like a long-standing tradition, and the group chat is healthy and it's fun and there's razzing and everybody knows everything. The other leagues that I'm in, everyone's always like trying to, jumble it together. No one's clear on the rules. And like, as you could see in that last one, Cerruti, nobody even knew that there was a 2 quarterback thing until like the second round. And it was gross. But so at this time of year, I'm always got my guys like trying to put one together, like, and that makes me out. So I think by the time I'm like Ryan or maybe even Steve's age, if I'm thinking positively, I'll only be in one, and it won't like I won't have to have these bad thoughts about fantasy football.
Damn.
All right. What else?
All right, I got a bunch written down. Well, we're gonna do this in the future, so I guess I'll just save these. But how about running a marathon?
I think it's all of the things. I think it's overrated. I think it's underrated. I think it's properly rated. It's the rare example where I think it all applies. Yeah. Because
I only ask because it's obviously really hard. I could not do it. I am not a runner. I like to play sports. I don't run just for enjoyment. If you do that, that's great.
Not trying to be the best at exercising.
But shout out to
how do you get better?
Powers.
Just keep running.
But doesn't it also feel like everyone's running a marathon now? Like everyone runs marathon. You can reach a certain age.
You're in marathon age. No, you're in marathon age right now. It's over. What's happening is like there's a guy, he played lacrosse in high school or something like that, but then he drank college and then post college and then the whole thing. And he was like, I used to be an athlete, so now I'm going to do it. I think it's the preparation. It's the mental shift of what it takes to prepare for it, and then the accomplishments. Like I think all of that stuff is really good. But yeah, you're peak marathon age right now.
Marathon people don't have to come at me. I know it's hard. Is it as hard as people say? I don't know. Maybe I'll try.
What about the 12.1 stickers?
12. Yeah, 12, a half. Again, I can't do this, so it's like you're such a loser for just like talking shit about something you can't do. I get that. I know I'm being a hypocrite, but we don't need a 12.1 sticker.
There's a line where I would go, that's amazing, that's less amazing, good for you. And then it's like, then there's at the very bottom, it's like, did you walk? And then get a jacket. Right?
Yeah, everybody gets a medal. Yep.
Yeah, so.
Happy for you guys, though. All right.
I'm never doing it.
Yeah, it's sort of like, what is it? Do they call them 36ers? What, isn't there like, I don't know if it's the Adirondacks. One of those mountain races have like 36 peaks. And they're like, yeah, gonna do this one next. And I'm just, good for you, man. I don't really have any thoughts.
That's more interesting to me.
It is more interesting.
But I still don't know. I've been hiking now for years. Can't tell if I still hate it or like it. Like, do I like this? Dude, 12 miles in British Columbia, same day. I was like, why did you do this again? Yeah, it was a lot. It wasn't that hard of a grade. We can get into the pitch later. Kyle?
Good. Yeah, this one, I feel like you guys had good ones, but I do kind of feel strongly about this. I think Hot Pockets are really underrated, and I think they got a bad rap, and I think people think they're gross. And I don't know. I think even the grocery stores are pulling back on the assortments they offer. And I don't know. I think kind of goes with my first one, Hot Pockets at a house party. That kind of goes together super well. Once you get to the point where you're like, I'm just going to start opening cabinets and freezer doors and shit. Look at all these Hot Pockets. Does anybody want? I'm making.
I fully agree with you. I haven't had one in a long time.
The ham and cheddar classic. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's bad for you. It can't be good, and it's usually.
I used to get the meatball marinara cheese one.
That's a good one. I like the pepperoni, the Philly cheesesteak. All good in my book.
The problem with Hot Pockets though is like, and people have said this. It's not like I'm just like coming up with this, but like it's either frozen or it's lava, and there's like kind of no in between. Yeah. Like the microwave situation. Then you're like,
I'll wait for this. I mean, yeah, I will. I don't do the. I'll bite it in the where you hold it in the whatever thing that is. I immediately cut it in the middle and then try to like vent it a little bit, and I'll try my best to wait. But good luck if you're having a Hot Pocket, you're out of options, and you're probably not waiting. But you're right. I usually get burned by the lava more than the ice.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I haven't had one since college.
I knew you were going to say that.
That first bite thing. I think they're properly rated. I think if you're in the Hot Pocket world, you know what you're doing. You know what you're signing up for. You don't bite into it and be like, oh my God, I thought this was going to be so much better. Right?
Depending on the hour of the day, I think.
Depending on the flavor too. Like that meatball one, I remember. I didn't hate it.
I remember.
I didn't hate it. But yeah, I remember the roof of the mouth thing. Maybe you thought it tasted good because all your senses were destroyed after that first bite. But yeah, I think it's properly. All right, last one here. Fresh asphalt on a street.
Super underrated. I get excited when I come across a little patch on the highway.
Those are your tax dollars.
That felt good. Sounded good too.
Yeah, well, I guess what's the downside? I think it's everyone thinks I want to hear from you first, I guess. I don't know. What would be the bad thing about it?
Yeah, I just think it's underrated because like it's like the
I just
street,
like it.
the street
You're saying
feels
people
like
aren't talking enough about fresh
yeah, they're not
asphalt.
talking about it enough. No, I mean the process is brutal. Those guys out there, man, it's hot. It's hot on top of being hot, and then you're pushing this stuff around. But it always feels like you can point to a screw up every now and then you'll see it, but more often than not, like these guys are delivering big numbers and getting the lines right, getting the spacing right,
Yeah.
the reflectors, all that stuff. And then you have to treat. I did it one night. One night we were getting out of a bar that we were closing up. I was working, and the guys were right in the street with us. And we're like, can we lend a hand? And they were like, yeah, we don't care. And they were just like teaching us how to do it. We were throwing the stuff over the paint to like settle it and the whole deal. And I just think whenever a street gets a fresh coating, there's a sense of pride in that neighborhood. We're like, you see her? You're like, it is. You pull out of the driveway and then you're right on it, and you're like, this is living. But then it's kind of sad because you're like, it's going to be could be 5-10 years before we have this feeling again. So that's why I'm saying if you're getting a fresh coat on your street, appreciate it a little bit more. That's why
bring
that's
those guys some water, some lemonade.
That's why I'd argue. Yeah, go a little slower, take it all in. This is absolute darkness. This is interstellar darkness right now on Burroughs Hill Road.
Dude, I was back in Pleasant Valley this summer, and they were doing night paving on Route 44 there, right outside of the old bar. You know how there's like that new mall, old mall.
I don't know the area.
No, I'm saying the joke. It's like there's the I think it's a Chris Rock joke. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm not going to Michael Scott this. But there's the new mall.
Take
the old
longer.
Mall.
Do it.
No, it's the old mall, and so I'm drinking at the old mall. I was just showing my wife. I was like, this is where, I took her to the new one where the young kids, renovated it to a new bar. And I was like, here's the old bar. I mean, this is where I feel better at. So we went there, and they were doing night paving, and everyone was on this porch just like, you fucking guys rock. And even one lady
People
was
love
like,
pavers.
Yeah.
That's another whole part of it. Nobody ever gets mad at the pavers.
It was karaoke night, and this one lady cuts through the whole karaoke and was like, you guys said you were going to tell me when they bring out the steamroller. And everybody walked outside and watched these guys steamroll. And everyone's like, you guys are fucking awesome. So I tell you what, the good folks in Pleasant Valley appreciate. They are properly rating asphalt. I'll tell you that right now. Shout out to the Roadhouse.
All right. First edition of that. So let's do an email and we'll get a historic fact, and we're on our way, right?
You want to do the historic fact first?
Yeah. Because each time we do this, one of us has to come to the table with it. I can't wait for these. I'll be fast forwarding the video to this.
There's just so I'm gonna go first. There's so many things that I was looking up stuff this morning and
have
just happened off the top of your head. But also like so much of this, yes, history. There's a lot of history out there.
So many events.
But like you're like, all right, I want to come up with a good one, a fun one, and I kind of came across this that I think is very funny. Do you guys remember back in like 2003 when there was that big anti-France movement after they they didn't approve of the Iraq War?
Freedom fries.
So then, everybody, I had a buddy I remember in high school, it was in our
people
Modern
stopped
Russia.
ordering Grey Goose at the bar I worked at.
Get out of here. We can't have any French stuff around. But I remember I had a buddy, I was taking this Modern Russia class. Shout out to Bob Brown, who was our teacher. He was definitely a communist, but good guy.
B.
I had a buddy be like, oh, we would talk about different diplomatic things. What's your answer here? And he'd be like, oh, bomb France. And that was like his answer was bomb France. But yeah, anyway, that's where the freedom fries thing came from. And I just always thought that was stupid. There are actually like 2 senators or congressmen too, who like tried to make that into a law. I'm like, guys, you didn't have anything better to do with your time than to change French fries to freedom fries. Like, what are we doing here? Anyway, so I'd say all that because you guys do remember that. Did you know that this has also happened at other points in history, in American history?
Yes.
So,
preamble, buddy. Go ahead. What do you
like that?
Yeah.
Well, this is the part I didn't know. So I guess, during World War I and II, obviously Germany, like not super, super popular.
Unpopular. Yes.
We're not super. No, they weren't super popular. Germany.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify so that we didn't get aggregated or clipped out anywhere here. We know that's happened on pods recently. So there was a bunch of German stuff that we apparently just changed the name of, like hamburger. Did you know that hamburger people started calling that Liberty sandwiches or Liberty steaks, which is the dumbest name ever? Liberty sandwiches? That's terrible. Sauerkraut, people started calling that Liberty cabbage. There was a disease that I've never even heard of called Germany measles, which, by the way, wouldn't you just leave it that way? It's already a negative thing.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just leave it as Germany. They started calling it Liberty measles. Liberty measles. And the
Yeah,
last
who
one I
was
saw,
steering that ship. What the fuck?
I don't know. I would have probably advised you to just not change that one, but hey, I wasn't there. And the last one was restaurants even stopped serving German pretzels, which is a huge bummer because I would argue that a soft German pretzel is like a top 5 food in the entire
Yeah.
world. Get a good beer cheese in
Every
there.
bar
Like,
should
get
have
out
it.
of here.
Every bar should have it.
So I thought Freedom Fries was not. I thought that was an isolated incident in U.S. history, and maybe people know that. I did not, but there's your fun history fact for today.
That one's terrific. I mean, there's a lot of debate over the origin of the hamburger. You can look it up, Runstuck, etc. But yeah, that's. I thought we were going to go back to like post-American Revolution, French Revolution, just these French diplomats coming over here being like, we can get to help us out. People like, some people were like, yes, and a bunch of people were like, get out of here. Washington ended up having to like ban this dude who just showed up, who was like, hey, can you help me out? I think the Marquis or something. I forget. That's a really good one. I have nothing to add to that. I think it's terrific. Although I did see a bumper sticker the other day that was on a Tesla, and the bumper sticker said, and it was a picture. I did not see it in person. And the picture said, bumper sticker was like, we bought it before we knew he was an idiot.
I saw that.
And then somebody quote tweeted, it was like, what do you put on your Volkswagen?
Yes, I saw that
like,
too.
Whoa. I
Nice.
was like,
Similar
whoa.
algorithms.
Yeah. There you go.
Good.
Yeah. Kyle and I aligned on interests.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that cross-country road trip would work out just fine.
I think we had the conclusion is Kyle and I have a better chance than Cerruti and I do.
I definitely perked up at
I didn't
the
mean to
thought.
bum you out. I didn't mean to bum you out by that.
I'll get through it today.
All right, good.
Okay. Friday feedback here. We read one of these. All right. Love the show. 6'4", 215. All right. Good frame. A lot of size. 36, 3 little kids. So getting 225 up on the bench and running a 10-minute mile is a great day over here. Good for you. I had to send a quick email after seeing Ryan's tweet about being back on TV. Wait, we were just talking about this off the air.
This is great.
Yeah. So I have to tweet out the FanDuel link, which I want to, right? I love having the FanDuel partnership, but I'm at a loss for how to do it because it's aired on Tuesday's FanDuel TV lineup, but I've already taped it from like Monday and it still holds up. Like it's not really outdated by then. It's just recapping kind of the NFL stuff, the highlights in the McShay interview. But instead of just retweeting it, I've been trying to come up with like clever ways to get people to pay more attention to it, right? To benefit FanDuel and whatever, grow the audience. And so I tweeted out like, definitely nervous about being back on TV again, but excited about the opportunity. Meanwhile, the first one we did, I didn't even know we were doing it. So
got some notes there.
Yeah, I wasn't even able to.
Maybe look at the camera every once in a while.
I wasn't even. I couldn't possibly be nervous because I didn't even know what we were doing, and it's not even live. So there's that part of it. And I think I've been doing this long enough at certain points. Like if I'm going to get nervous about something, it's probably not going to be me in a t-shirt at my house taping the podcast and then having a feed. You know, I probably touched my face a little bit too much. I grab drinks of water, whatever. If I'm in a studio in a tie, I'll adapt. Okay. If that ever happens again, who knows? Don't even know if it will. But when I posted it, a lot of people took it seriously, which that's my own fault because a lot of the stuff that I tweet, I'm usually kind of making fun of the process of things. Like I'm sort of be like, how come you don't tweet more during games? And it's just like, do you need me to tell you it's a big third down? Fourth quarter, down 8, teams midfield, 3rd and 9. You're at home on the couch. Like, I wonder if this is a big third down.
This is like
checks out.
This is one of my biggest pet peeves.
Right. Holy shit. Russillo just said it's a big third down.
Oh, man.
Turn it up.
Retweet.
Wait a second. Yeah, who retweets
this is a big
exactly?
This is a big third down. I was on the fence. I didn't know. So anyway. Okay, continuing here with the email. The comment section is incredible. I have to know how all of you react when you tweet something that is clearly sarcastic in the comments. The comments range from not getting it, viewing it as an opportunity to get something off of their chest. Love the show. And keep the not so cryptic tweets coming. I don't know, Cerruti, maybe we could pick it up and read some of these comments, but I know you had something first.
Well, your social media in general, like I told the story on the pod a couple weeks ago, how like my mom is just perpetually confused about like what is real on your Instagram and what's not. Like the bullfighting cigarette guy, she was just like, "What is this picture?" I'm like, I can't even explain this to you. Like, there's not like, this is a different language to you. And there's the one of you getting on the, remember, I think I took this picture. Remember we got the private jet back from Baton Rouge for that LSU game, and you wanted me to take your picture in front of the jet, and you were, I forget what the caption even was, but I'm sure there were people that like thought you were trying to like humble brag about being on a jet when you really weren't. But I think I always just like, are the people who are seeing your socials, like what percentage of them actually understand what's going on? Is it above 50%? Because I honestly don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking through the deals here now. Like, it's not even that bad. The only time I ever see any comments that would make me upset is when somebody is saying that I said something I didn't say, and then they use that as a jumping off point to then like come at me, and I'm like, that's actually not what I said. So like, I would say in the grand scheme of things, but I'm not a dick on there. Okay, I'm not. I don't troll fan bases. I don't go, oh, what's up now? Like when LSU won the national championship, if it had gone the other way, I cannot fathom the number of Clemson people that were hitting me up all week long. And look, I'm like a fraud LSU fan, and then LSU stomps them, and nobody says anything. I wouldn't then go, hey, awfully quiet, huh, Clemson? Because I didn't even fucking go there. Like, this is all new. I'm new money LSU fan anyway. So I would like to think that I'm not a combative dickhead on that feed, like ever. I never really go back at anybody or anything, because I just think it's all a waste of time. So when I compare some of the stuff that I get in comparison with other people, I still don't even really think I get it that bad. And that's why for however long it's been part of the career, I don't, like what's the reward there? What's the goal? Like some people cannot. Some people, when acknowledged, they cannot like let it go. And I used to think it was so strange when people way bigger deal than me would engage. But then after I read Game Change and realized that you have basically both political parties, whoever's in the White House, they would be calling up the TV stations upset about the way something was covered. Okay. So I'm like, well, if the president can be upset about things, and you can pick any of the more recent presidents and you're going to get the same deal, where it's just like, so I'm just talking sports here. It's not that serious. It's not that big of a deal. Sometimes it can be really nasty, but I would say the nastiness level for me specifically isn't nearly as bad, but I also think it's a product of who I am on there, which is a guy who's not that into it. If I didn't have this job, I would have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, because you can smell it on somebody when they care too much about it. It's sort of like trying too hard to be friends. You're like, I don't know what that is, but I don't like it. So good for you.
Anything else?
I'm just reading some of the replies. They're pretty great. Some of them are not for. I'm gonna just leave them alone.
Yeah, some of them, but like there's a couple that are really like pretty nasty, kind of out of nowhere. But whatever. I mean, it's not a big
Happy
deal.
For you, buddy.
Like, yeah, got it. All right, that'll do it. This is Mail It In Thursdays, posting on Fridays.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Mail It In Wednesday,
taping on Wednesday, posting on Thursday. This is the beauty of the segment. It's yeah, we don't even know.
This is all my fault. I keep getting the title wrong because I thought we were taping on Wednesdays. It's Mail It In Thursdays, taped on Wednesday.
Correct?
Right. And I wore a sleeveless t-shirt today for no other reason than I forgot we were doing this. God, you look good.
Brand is strong.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Later.
It's great school.